Hello and welcome to another Civ Leader rating. I'm Dame Offensive. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. Anyway, today's leader is João III of Portugal, who's coming out on March 25th. The leader ability is Porta de Cerco. All units gain additional sight, and you gain additional trade route capacity for meeting a civ. You also get open borders with all city-states. The civ ability is Asa de Inja. This increases trade yields and range on water, but limits routes to coastal and harbor cities. They can also embark immediately. The unique building is the Navigation School. It replaces the university, increases naval unit production, science for water tiles in that city, and great admiral points. The unique unit is the Now. It replaces the Caravel, starts with 1 free promotion, it costs less maintenance, and it has 2 charges to build Feitorias, which increase gold and production to trade routes to that city. They must be placed in a foreign city next to luxury or bonus resources. The rating system I use is fairly simple. 10 is really designed for a feature, 1 is really bad, and 5 or 6 is about average. First up for rating is the science victory. In terms of science generation, he's gonna get a 10. You really want to settle coastal cities. And when you build campuses there, you're gonna get so much science for it. It's crazy. It's gonna be so powerful. In terms of production generation, I'm gonna give him an 8. A lot of that production is probably going to come from hopefully good harbor adjacency, but also from your trade routes. In terms of additional abilities towards a science victory, I'm going to give him an 8. He's going to have so much money, he's going to be able to buy a lot of what he needs, either towards a science victory, like just buying the buildings, or as a defense, like buying units really quickly. Average these out and he gets a science victory capacity of 8.7, which is going to be his best score. On to culture victory. In terms of culture generation, he's going to get a 5. He's pretty average here. In terms of faith generation, he's going to get a 5. Also pretty average. In terms of additional abilities towards a culture victory, I'm going to give him a 10. The extra trade routes means that you're going to get that tourism bonus to other civs really easily. Average these out and he's going to get a culture victory capacity of 6.7. On to religious victory. In terms of religion establishment, he's going to get a 5. Nothing special there. In terms of faith generation, we talked about it before, it's a 5. In terms of additional abilities towards a religious victory, I'm going to give him a 6. Technically, trade routes can help with religion, although I don't know that I've ever seen a city flip because of a trade route. It can help it spread kind of slowly to people who don't have their own religion. Average these out and he gets a religious victory capacity of 5.3. On to diplomatic victory. In terms of diplomatic favor generation, I'm going to give him a 6. He should be able to get envoys pretty easily because trade routes are often an envoy option, and he can also buy buildings and whatnot that will help trigger envoys. In terms of culture generation, we talked about that before, he gets a 5. In terms of additional abilities towards a diplomatic victory, I'm going to give him an 8. Average these scores out and he gets a diplomatic victory capacity of 6.3. On to domination victory. In terms of combat bonuses, he gets a 5, pretty standard. In terms of unit timing and relevance, I'm going to give him a 6. The Now seems really good, but also you probably don't want to use it for combat. You want to move it around the map to explore, meet new civs, and place the Feitorias where you can place them. In terms of additional abilities towards a domination victory, I'm going to give him a 2. You really want those trade routes, and eliminating civs, especially if they're coastal civs, because that's where your best units are, is going to be detrimental to your trading capacity. Average these scores out and he gets a domination victory capacity of 4.3. On to versatility. First up, we average out his scores, so he gets a 6.3 here. In terms of reasonable alternatives to victory, I'm going to give him a 4. He really is fairly average in most respects, but the science bonuses are crazy strong, and then the culture is pretty good too. Next is ease of change. How able is he to switch to a different victory type? I'm going to give him an 8 here. A lot of his bonuses come fairly late in the game, so you don't have to invest too much in one direction or another towards victory. Average these scores out and he gets a versatility score of 6.1. Some additional notes. on João III of Portugal. First up is terrain. You definitely want to consider archipelago or other higher water level maps. You probably want to have abundant resources for easier Feitoria placement. With these coastal cities, you might have a slow start because of limited tiles to work early and limited housing, but you should get really fast growth later once you get all of those trade routes up. In terms of game modes, he came with the zombies mode, but that doesn't really seem to play into his style at all since you're probably going to be alone on an island, and it probably doesn't fit that well. Monopolies and corporations would be really nice to get the industry bonuses. You definitely want secret societies and get Owls of Minerva. That'll definitely change his diplomatic abilities. With Owls of Minerva, he's easily a diplomatic civ, no question. In terms of wonders, you definitely want the coastal benefits ones, like Colossus and Lighthouse, or the ones that help you with your trade routes, like the new wonder, Torre de Bellum, Great Zimbabwe, Golden Gate even. Those trade routes are going to make your game, so think about how you can improve those. In terms of city-states, science and trade ones seem like no-brainers. In terms of suzerainship, you probably want to look for the ones with trade route bonuses like Antioch, Bandar Brunei, and maybe Carthage that give you extra bonuses for establishing trade routes. Other civs to look out for. Be careful of other naval civs with earlier bonuses like Coupe, Dido, or Herald, since they will compete with you on the seas. You might want to remove them from the leader choices if you don't want an early challenge. You might think about adding Mali, because he'll like you for all your trade routes and all your gold, and you'll have opposite land claims, so you might have good synergy there. My summary of João III of Portugal. He is an excellent new science civ with a slightly different playstyle, focused a bit more on money. Reina will be great to have in this because you'll really be able to buy districts easily. And like I mentioned, Owls of Minerva on him is going to make him a crazy good diplomatic civ. He's probably going to be great for new players because his bonuses are so simple. He's got limited places to send trade routes, but I mean, you just go with whatever the picker has, so that works out. But that's going to be it for my rating of João III of Portugal. If you like this and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. You know how YouTube works. Goodbye!